Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Pedantic-land. What up?
Hey,
I'm here. Ah,
this is good.
it is. I was using that 30 minutes between 8 and right now to write a blog post on separation anxiety for pet care.
Oh,
Nothing
okay.
like that goes out tomorrow.
You're a much faster typist than I then, because I would still be going.
It is the wonder of voice detect. Oh my god. It is like total game changer. I try my hardest to never actually type anything, and that's mostly because I spend so much time on my phone that it is incredibly difficult for me to write for anything of length on my phone, especially when I'm away from my
that's true.
My phone. My computer, when I'm out doing drop-ins or whenever I'm at work, work, or I'm doing this other stuff, it's like I just need to sit down and I can bloviate a lot. Fill up those pages fast.
There you go.
So, pro tip: voice text.
I don't know if I speak slowly and succinctly enough for that to function all the time. I tend to like speed up the longer. Well, listeners will know this is true.
I do it all in Google Docs, and it is pretty good at it, right? And
that's true.
I do have to go back in and add sometimes periods or some commas or whatever, do some editing, but I would have to edit myself anyway. So
that's a good point.
It's a way for me to just keep, because my brain thinks a lot faster than my little fingers can type, and I get frustrated, and then I kind of lose the thread of where I'm going, and I can't keep it all. And this way I can at least just literally vomit words onto a page and then go back and assimilate them, because that tends to be a little bit easier for me in my editing process these days, at least, when I'm so scatterbrained.
That's true. Well, there you go.
So, yes.
Pets have separation anxiety. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god. It is so bad. It's really bad. Yeah. Because everybody so last year, here's your pet talk corner. Last year, there was an 11% increase in pet ownership, most of them for the first time. Usually annual growth in pet ownership is between 1% to 3%.
Wow. Okay.
Around.
Okay.
Yeah, just to put that into perspective.
Grief.
And then everybody spent all day with them. And
yeah, for a year.
And now they're like, oh, I must leave and go back to work. And the dogs are like, what now? I don't believe we've talked about this, and you haven't. What? I'm not okay. And so, yeah, for our business, the number of people who have said things like, well, are you going to be, they can't be left alone at all. Like, are you going to be around them 24/7? And it's like, no.
What do you mean at all?
Not actually. So, and you wouldn't want to pay my rate for me to be around them 24/7. So.
No, you wouldn't want that either.
So,
hey, that's
very real about this.
It's kind of nuts. Like, I don't know. You think that people, like adult people, I was going to say functioning, but let's be real, would like
watch yourself,
would still like go, oh yes, this dog will just magically take care of itself. Like,
yeah,
what?
No,
what are you talking about?
Well, I think
here's ridiculous you sound right now.
Here's the problem. Okay, this is not the problem. The second half of my statement is the problem. There are currently somewhere around 130 million pets in the United States right now, and of those, something between about 70% of those are viewed as members of the family. And so the owners see how the dog reacts to them and thinks that those are good emotions coming towards them. It's adorable. It's adorable when my little puppy whines for me because that means they love me and I am needed. And they think that's good, right? And what they don't realize is that dog is mentally unable to manage and cope with its emotions and stresses in a healthy manner and is actually dependent upon the presence of their guardian to help calm them down.
Yes.
And
not good.
They're not concerned about they don't think about raising a mentally mature and healthy dog, right? They think about its physical health of it getting exercise and it getting the proper food, but don't concern themselves with an emotionally healthy dog. Like, what does that even mean? And even like self-regulate yourself. Like people aren't thinking about that. That's what people aren't thinking about. They like the dog that runs to them and clings to them when they sit on the couch or whines to them when they leave. And so their goodbye is 45 minutes in the morning as they're like, oh,
who likes a dog whining? It's an awful noise. Like, it's terrible. Like, I don't know.
God. No,
not pleasant.
I'm not okay with it.
So, yes.
But
well,
so we are writing. I'm writing a blog post, and we're doing some stuff to help educate the people in our area and get them connected with some trainers. Because the unfortunate part is that once people realize that the dog has separation anxiety, it's usually at the point where the dog is starting to damage things, and at that point,
like break stuff, scratch cabinets apart,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why is the dog doing that? Many people go, "Oh, my dog's doing that because they're angry at me that I left." Right? It's like, no, you're anthropomorphizing way too much here. Your dog is doing that.
Dogs don't get like mad.
No, your dog is doing that because you have shut them in a small box, and they, even though the box may be the whole house, right? It's small to them. They are now trying to escape. Yeah. They are in fear mode because you, their guardian, have left, and they don't know how to be okay. They're trying to actually get out and find you, and get out and get away from the claustrophobia. So at that point, like, you're dealing with a lot of things, and you're having to go way back to just like basics of like crate training and good manners and checking up on their health and making sure they don't have underlying health conditions. But you're working with a trainer at that point. You're bringing on a dog walker so they can come midday, check on them, get them.
Exercise is still a part of that, right? Because they need to release that energy in a way that's useful.
Yes. So
right, and they go
before you leave, taking them on a really good walk. Having a set routine, desensitizing. So this counter, desensitizing them to these stimulus, doing lots of positive reinforcement, having someone come in the middle of the day to do a walk, and then in the evenings you're going to training and you're working on these.
Yeah. Things. Well, and again, walking them when they get home because if they do have any pent up energy, getting that out on a walk.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
here we go.
What many people do is they go, well, I need to get them on puppy Prozac because they're stressed.
Yes.
And,
no.
and going, look, like, medications should be the end result. Like you've tried all this stuff.
Because some dogs do need that because they have some sort of imbalance, right? But it's not like that.
I'm not saying that it's not a thing. It's just when that's your first go-to, it's like, I hate to say it, but at that point you're being a lazy owner. You're not willing to actually help your dog. You're just wanting to find the easiest fix to make them stop tearing up stuff.
Well, I mean, if we think about how like American pharmaceutical culture works anyway, that's the same thing that people do for their very own self, right? They go, oh, I have this, and then they just go, oh, I could take medicine and it's fine, and they don't think about like, well, I could change my diet. No, I don't want to change my diet. I just want to take this medicine. It's fine.
Yeah, I could stretch for 5 minutes in the evening and not have back problems, or I could be on horse relaxers.
Yes.
But you're
right. So, like, I think that plays into it a little bit because they're conditioned to do that to themselves.
Yep.
So they do that anyway. Yes.
Anyway. Yeah. So that's what I was doing the last 30 minutes. Aaron, what have you been doing, Mr. May?
But as far as like today goes,
I don't know.
No, yes, only in the last 30 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Yes.
Did you write a blog post for the last 30 minutes? Did you?
No, Aaron was in training all day.
Oh yeah,
I was good. Yeah, so periodically throughout the year, someone finds some sort of program in like the upper echelon of the state and says, "Hey, I know who could use that." An entire state agency. So,
Aaron, spoilers.
Yeah, it's me. So, someone somewhere thought it was a good idea to be like, "Oh, there's a thing called it's something called Hope training," and don't ask me what it was because I can't tell you because I wasn't paying attention. It was mostly about different program or ways to bring hope back into some of our families. But it's a kind of a weird program that no one's ever going to use. So it's kind of moot and begin with, but whatever. So from about 9:30 this morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was glued to my laptop because it'd be like a 20-minute video, 5-question quiz, 30-minute video, 2-question quiz, 45-minute video, 5-question quiz, back to 30-minute question or minute video. I'm like, oh, okay. So so that's what I did all day.
I can't imagine why you would struggle paying attention to such a in-depth and personalized learning experience.
It's someone. It was they recorded a Zoom call. And they put in like a video, and so it was us watching people interact on a Zoom call about So that's what Aaron did all day. Learned a lot about programs and different ways to facilitate that with family with the state. Yeah, so that's what Aaron did. Aaron is tired. But yeah, that is literally all I did all day today. I didn't go out anywhere. I didn't leave. I stayed put and watched those. Like I can't even tell you how many videos there were. That's how bad it was. So yeah, that's what I did in regards to today. I sat here and watched videos, and then people called me, and I said, "Not now. Watching video.
Yeah.
I will call you back." And then I never did because there were people I didn't know. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, Aaron, I was a little bitter today because I had to deal with this. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty. It was. In retrospect, it was easy. But did you watch those videos? Like, and tomorrow after we have a early morning meeting, I also have to watch more videos for another training that I don't know what it's about. Because they kind of be like, "Oh, hey, these people are doing this program. We thought it's a good idea if everybody did it. And you have a week to watch 6 videos. So good luck." So on top of everything that I already do, I now have to cram that on top of it. Plus, call people, go out and see people, type, sleep. So that's literally all my week has been. Like, I'm gonna type stuff. I can't type stuff. I have to watch this. Okay, I'm gonna watch this. Can I type stuff now? No. All right, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm a little bitter. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I'm fine.
Well, that's good that you're not holding anything inside about it.
It's definitely true.
Yeah. But other than that, that's all Aaron has been doing this week, at least.
Very eventful. Very lovely.
No.
What about you, Mr. Brandon? There, are you? Are you done? Classes, are they done?
Nah, Friday. I'll be done Friday. So it's just sort of like random things happening this week. So it's just kind of like, I mean, is class over? Yes. Are we still in school? Also, yes. So like,
yes. The in-between
we're just kind of like hanging out, just watching some videos and doing stuff, like talking about things, randomly cleaning parts of my room.
Yeah.
That's kind of it, right? It's that weird like end of the year time where all the I's need to be dotted and T's crossed, right? And it's all these like really hyper specific things that I don't actually remember how to do, or like are not really normally relevant to my life, and I don't think about them. And then they're like, do this, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like all the little fine detail paperwork that I don't generally concern myself with because my brain doesn't really function in that kind of space. Like I'm not like a hyper detail oriented person. So when you're like, here's your checkout checklist, I'm like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And they're like, I always forget. They're like, turn in your grade book. It's like, I don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't keep a physical book because that's just, I don't need that in my life. There's an online computer. There's the central computer system to do that. And so that's what I do. But apparently for record keeping purposes and to ensure that if something ever were to happen to the computer system, and since these are, quote, permanent records, I must provide copies for my gradebook to be filed away in some filing cabinet for X number of years before they just get thrown away. Because that's what happens. They have to be stored for some number of years in a physical manifestation. And then after said time expires, they throw them out.
Wow.
Or what's also happens in our school anyway, especially because I talked to one of the janitor guys last summer, they get stored in some random back closet. And people forget where they put them. And so last year he was digging around. Last year he had a lot of extra time, right? And so he was just cleaning out these closets and stuff. And he's like, I found these records from like 1983.
Whoa.
Just like around. He's been like stashed in places.
I love it.
And so they're like, yeah, we could throw those away. He's like, okay. So I have to go in and because our gradebook system is so user friendly, it's so wonderful. There's not like a print gradebook button.
There's a what?
Yes. There's not a print gradebook button. It does not exist. And for some reason, it's not there. So I have to go into each class. I think for both semesters. And manually export everything to an Excel spreadsheet and print that.
Oh.
Which is terribly inefficient and disgusting.
Why would they make you do that?
I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's so ridiculous. And they're like, make sure that you get checked off that you have your lunch balance paid. Like, first of all, you, administrator, can just go online and look. There's a person whose job that is. Like our accountant-y lady, that's just what she does. She can just look at it and go, you owe $7.56.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me, you owe like literally over $100 in lunch bills because you haven't paid for months because you're an idiot. But like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. So like, it's just like, there's no reason that I have to do that. Right? There's no, and there's also since we're living in Pedantic-land, they told me print off the professional development log. That sounds to me like there's one already made somewhere.
Yeah. There's one.
Oh, there isn't one. I looked. I scoured the we have an intranet site thingy, right? That has all our little forums, so you can offer referral, blam. If you need our exciting trading videos are on there. So when you need to learn about bloodborne pathogens, bam, there they are, right there. Blah. That's one of the things we have to watch every year at the beginning of the year is the training videos about that. And one of them is about bloodborne pathogens, and it's the funniest thing. Oh, yeah. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's so like campy and weird. But anyway, sorry. Like it's not there. And so I made one. I just looked at the calendar. I looked at all the PD days. I made one. I printed it off.
Nice.
It was all done. And she was like, "You can't use that one." I was like, "What? What do you mean I can't use that?" And so they sent out this checklist to be done like 3 weeks ago. It might have been Monday. She emailed the professional development log out to everyone. I was like, "Are you stinking kidding me?" What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Wow.
And there was something else she said. I can't remember what it was. It was like, "Here's another form that you need." I was like, "Stop." And she like sent this checklist in a Google form, right? A Google form that is cataloged in the Google Forms thing, in which you can go and look at all the results and blah, blah, blah. Then she says, "Make sure you print off the Google form and turn it in with your stuff." I was like, "Why?"
Oh my God.
What are you doing? Why?
That's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, listen, most of the stuff out here is like asinine anyway. Like, make sure your learning team binder is turned in. Like, yes. No, I'm just going to keep that. What do you...
Man. Yeah.
Mine doesn't actually count anyway because I work with a high school, so it's somewhere over there. I don't have it. I don't touch it. It's not mine. I bring things, I put them in there, and I give it back. There you go. So, it's like all these things are like, to me, they're in the way of the things that I want to be doing, right? But they're like important to other people, and our importances are not meshing currently, and it's like stressing me out. I'm like, I don't know. Don't care about your checklist. It's fine.
Well, it's crazy how crazy, but like how often that comes into play. Because as you're talking, I'm thinking about just like the amount of paperwork that just I have to do. Like one of the things that just galls me is I'm not hourly, but I have to record my hours every week.
And
that's a thing that we have to do too, because it's like for auditing tax purposes, you have to be like do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, well, and the department wants to see how much time did you spend in your week on priority watershed or on priority geography or on accounting or on bookkeeping or on meetings, or so that at the end of the fiscal year they can pull up a huge dashboard and say, well, we say our top 5 priorities for the department are X, Y, Z, W, B, but the hours that our employees are actually putting into don't reflect that. So how do we get these more in alignment? Actually what they're trying to do with all this. And I know some of it also is they get like federal reimbursement for some of their expenditures. And if you do, like right now, if you have to spend your time on hogs, you code those hours a special way so that the department uses the hog money grants to pay for your salary. Basically, what happened.
I hope you call them I heart pigs. I think that's what you put on there.
And I just, it hurts every time I have to sit down every Thursday and make sure I'm caught up, and then Friday make sure I submit it before the weekend. And then we also do these. I know. This is just me complaining about like having to do like quarterly pulse check-ins and filling out my independent growth development and my 5-year plan that I have to.
Oh yeah, we have those. My educator growth plan.
I'm just like, can I?
Hooray!
I just want to go back to my work. I just want to go to.
Luckily, they got too busy at the end of the year for them to do that. And so she was like, we're going to re-talk about this at the beginning of next year. So you can format your educator, like, because at the beginning of school, we have like 2 weeks of just professional development, like straight.
Yeah.
Which is also code for like, get your room in order, which is, I like having them at the beginning. I think 2 weeks is a bit much. Because 1 year, they were like, 1 day of PD and then like school started. I was like, what?
Oh wow. Yeah.
But since the state of Missouri decided last year, school has to start on this day for the entire state, because the Missouri state government has nothing better to do apparently than just pass really random and arbitrary laws. We had all of our PD in the first 2 weeks and then none the rest just randomly a day here, because we normally spread them out Mondays, right? But in order to keep things, and so we didn't have to end up going to school till June 12th, they were like, okay, we're just going to slam them all here because we can be in school before that day, but the kids can't. So blab. We just slammed them all out the way. But yeah, it's that. So there's the educated growth plan, but she was like, make sure you listen to this inspirational podcast and write down your takeaways and put them into this form. And I was like, no. Oh no. No. It's one of those really weird leadership kind of things that I'm not into, that a lot of people are. So listeners, if you're into that kind of thing, I still love you. It's okay. You're allowed to like that. It's just not for me. And
into leadership.
I
take that note.
I not too into leadership talks. I've heard those things before, and they're really they fly in my face about a lot of stuff. So I disagree with them. They come off as disingenuous a lot of times, right? I just feel like they're just anyway. And so she was like, do all this and blah, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a bad time when I go in there and I have to talk to her about this, because I'm going to be like, listen,
you're probably
about to get in trouble.
About this. Right.
Yeah. So what'd you think? I didn't. So yeah, I understand that. We have to do all that kind of stuff too. And I understand why you need to do that. It's good, especially if you've been doing it for several years, right? People, especially in the teaching profession, they just fall into the trap of well, I'm just going to do all the same stuff I did before, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of fall into this trap of, I have plan, I follow plan, done. And, that's a way to go about things. But so I appreciate that she's trying to make sure that people are reflecting and being critical and all that stuff. But again, it just doesn't mesh with my personal, the way that my brain functions, the space that my brain functions. Because I do all that stuff real fast, and then I'm on to the next thing. I'm like, ooh, that didn't work. I'm going to throw that out. And I make a note and I get rid of it. And then I'm like, I'm done. I'm going down somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so when I have to sit there for a very long time and reflect and journal about things or whatever, I'm not wired, right? I guess I have wired myself to some extent, right, to not function that way. And so it's really hard for me to kind of be on board with that. And I get real antsy, and I don't know what to put, because I'm I've done this already. In my head, I've done all this and I'm just passed on. And so I'm it's very stressful. I don't.
Well, I think that documenting process, that is hard, of because you're right. Like I'm the same way. I like to sit down and quickly go through 4 or 5 either like scenarios or things that may happen, or plan that way, and then move on. And so what you only see is kind of like the end result. And for a lot of that stuff, especially for like the growth and development plan and for things like they want it documented. Like we have ours where I have to set just for like annual objectives, and then I have quarterly objectives, and then I have sub goals within each one of those. And I have to come in and annotate those periodically to be like, this step was done for this on this date, these people. That way, when I do my quarterly reviews, right, we can sit down and look at this and go, okay, this is the progress you've made and what's happening, what needs to, move forward, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Spend so much time like documenting. And there's a difference for me between like documenting my work and I don't even know what I would call this, because this isn't even documenting my work. This is like tracking my work, I guess would be something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. I know. And, that's the thing that I was talking to one of my coworkers about it, because she was all like, she was talking about, making sure that you're exploring like outside the box. And I'm like, listen, you don't actually want me to do that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm already like, I already exist outside of your box. So if you're gonna let me out of mine, I don't think you're ready for what's gonna happen. I don't know. That's like, I'm not sure you will like it. So I don't.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, what I'm doing right now is working, so we're not gonna encourage.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that I already do is sort of like outside of your wheelhouse, outside of your box, right? That you would like, because I kind of understand how she works, right? Like the things she says, things she does, like I can see what you're doing. And I'm already sort of operating on the edge to outside of that. So like, I don't really want to push it any further because they might get upset. So like, I can go there, but you're not sure you're gonna like it. I don't know if you'll just feel. Well, I mean, they might like it. They might, they might appreciate it, but also that might make some people like very uncomfortable to be like, "Oh, how do you document that?" Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't fit into your paperwork. So that, oh. Well, yeah, That's been Office Talk, everyone's favorite corner of this podcast for sure.
Every time we kind of go over to like the productivity office stuff, I think it's good stuff. It's helping people.
That's true. It might be helping people. There might be weird people out there like me, and it's okay. It's all right. You're safe here. It's fine.
You are seen. You are accepted.
It's great. It's all right. Oh man, slight addendum to last week's conversation. I finally went and got my haircut.
Okay. How did that feel?
First of all, it feels glorious. It's starting because Missouri has decided that, it's about time to get hot. It's been like cold still, relatively speaking, all of May. And then like yesterday it was like, ha ha ha. And so it's been terribly hot and, not hot yet exactly, but it's been so humid. Oh, it's been like raining and storming like every day.
Yes.
So the humidity has just killed me. So first of all, it's very nice. It's extra great. But I was talking to my hair lady today, and we were talking about she was talking about hair and stuff. And so I just jokingly asked her, I was like, so like when you're out in public, do you judge people? Are you judging their hair all the time? And she laughed. She goes, oh, heck yeah, all the time.
Oh man, now I'm really self-conscious. Maybe more. That's what I need in my life. Not okay.
She was like, yeah, a lot of times I'm like, oh no, that's the wrong color for you. And like, we're like, oh, I could totally do that better. Like, she's like giving people fantasy haircuts in her mind about like what they did wrong. So I don't know. This might add to people's anxiety, but like the hairdressers of the world are judging you when they see you out in public. That's what. I just thought it was hysterical. She said that, she was like dead serious, like, "Oh yeah, totally, I totally do that."
But I totally get it. Like, if that's something like, but that's kind of like, I mean, just being honest, Brandon. Like when you are, I'm going to call you a musician. Whenever you play, like, do you? What's your?
That's very generous of you. Thank you.
When you are, more musically inclined, I think, than the average person, when you hear music or hear somebody playing, like, where does your brain go to when you hear something?
Oh, I do it. I totally do it when I see people playing live or hear them playing live. I go, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Why?
And for me, I know, because my example was like I do a lot of audio stuff, right? So even before I was in doing like podcasting, mixing, and things like that, I would do more live music mixing in some circumstances or things like that, and be behind the board. And so I know whenever I hear productions or things like that, I'm listening for things and I catch it. So I do a lot of critiquing as well. But it's just, when you're so familiar with something, you see those little blemishes or those things where you go, I would have done that, or I would have done this a little differently. And it's hard not to, though.
Yeah. I just thought it was hilarious that she decked to it. Aaron, what are you secretly judging people on?
Oh, yeah.
Is it their hats?
Oh, their hats.
Are you secretly judging their hats?
Aaron?
Well, I don't really know, because like I for the longest time I was never like a big like baseball hat, not like a baseball hat, but like a hat kind of person. Like I would wear my hats, and that would be it. But like seeing people like wear them kind of like backwards or like super bent or just like super straight, that's like, ooh, why?
You see the crease? Does a crease send chills down your spine?
Yes, yes it does. Now, so there are some times where
it's okay.
That is unavoidable.
Like hard. It's like a letter A. Like.
Oh yeah. I mean, I at least do a better job than that. But yeah, I've seen people do that. I'm like, your hat, no. Yeah, that's kind of the real like real big thing that I would watch people on. Like, oh no, could have done that so much better. But I mean, it took me till like this year to actually bend the hat properly, like an actual like fitted hat, and actually stretch it.
It's a honed skill. It's okay. You've been honing your craft for this moment in time.
That's a word for it. But yeah, I mean that's kind of really about it. The only thing I watch, and then I look over at my hat collection, and it's like, oh, I did that to that poor thing. Oh, poor baby. I'm sorry.
I like to think that I bet Collin also judges people on the writing utensil that they whip out to like do stuff. If they like whip out like a big pen, he's like, "Get out of here!"
It is. So I mean, anyway, I feel attacked. It used to happen.
He does. Look at him. He does.
When we would do large conference meetings, I was definitely something that I was immediately look for of like, what is every person writing with around the table? And it wasn't of like this, oh, I'm Sherlock Holmes and I'll be able to tell you everything about you and your past history and your likes and blah, blah, blah.
Except for it was
totally like that.
Collin's like the scene from American Psycho where Christian Bale's looking at their cards. Like, watermark.
Oh yes,
it's ivory. That's Collin.
No, but it was just mostly I was just looking for interesting things of like is anybody not using a Bic? Is anyone not using something just random or standard normal Pentel or whatever? Like, is there anybody using something interesting? So I was always on the lookout for that. And anytime, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've yet to see anybody else use a fountain pen, or like a fancy pencil. I have come across a few people who would write with the Sharpie fine tips, which I also like to really. I love writing with those on some certain papers. But yeah, I always look for seeing. Because some people I'm like, ooh, like I've talked to you before. You seem really interesting, and it seems like you might be the kind of person who would write with an interesting utensil and then
implement. Yeah,
implement.
And then they pull out like a boring like,
and I go like
random, just like this big mechanical pencils. You're like, oh
yeah,
I judged you wrong.
Well, right, like just the standard like 7 point, or 0.7.
Is with like the ones all the kids at school have the black ones with like the random colors. Yeah.
Now I will say, those are my go-to like field pencil. I love those in those settings. But it's like those are relegated to the field and away from like.
we're only the elk can see them.
Right? Yeah. They're not for polite company. But no, I've never seen anybody with a forced choice or with a Karen dash or with anything along those lines. Or
I need to get a more Karen dash. I have some of those.
I love mine.
I like those
so much. I used one and then I still have one. I'm saving it. Mostly I like the way that it smells like licorice.
That's true. I really like I have some Viking pencils, by the way. Those are great.
Yeah.
I love those.
Viking?
Yeah. Oh, they're sorry, Aaron. They're like,
I have no idea what you guys have been talking about this entire time. Like, is that a guitar? What are we talking about? Sorry,
no, they're from Denmark. They're wonderful. This is here I have a Viking Element 1 in HB. Yes, it's very great. I like it very much. So yeah, when you whip those out, people look at you funny. But yeah, it's all right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I have
I really got to write some stuff for the pencil thing this summer. Remind me to do that, Collin. You got to hold me accountable for this. I've got to do something with that.
You do. Do need to. Yeah. I was thinking about doing some like more long-term reviews of some because some of them like I feel like I've worked through like 5 or 6 at this point, and it's a lot. I have a better preference. Like one of the ones that I've just fallen in love with is the Blackwing Volume 24. It's an all black pencil with black barrel and the black eraser.
Oh, isn't that the Steinbeck one?
Yeah. Oh no, not this. Well, the Blackwing makes variations on the Steinbeck.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's the Blackwing 602 or
no, the normal one's a 602.
Yeah, that's the 602. That's kind of the standard one. The standard one.
What?
Yeah.
We lost Aaron again. I'm sorry, Aaron. Yes.
So, but yeah, I think there's some more new pencils and paper combinations that I think I need to write.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Pencil corner. Sorry. We have something else for that. It's fine.
Yeah. Aaron.
Sorry,
go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, go ahead. No, tell Aaron.
Okay.
No, you can go ahead.
I thought you were going to ask Aaron a question.
I'll save it for later.
Oh no, because I was going to segue to something different. So ask him.
Oh well, no, this is totally something different too.
That's fine.
No,
you go first.
Aaron, did you ever get a release date of the that video game that you were saying that you didn't know the release date of? But
no,
you were going to not
yet
because you hate us.
So what's happening currently is that they are it'll come out sometime this year, but the way it is being done is that they're introducing like all the factions and like all the cool like new things that they'll have, and so they have one race or one faction, and then they'll do like another faction, like a strew of videos, and they'll do like a whole nother thing, and then like something else, and then by sometime like November or December, it'll be they'll come out with the game in question. So I have some time to wait, but until I'm being strewn along by an orchestra of videos that they're coming out with. They've come out with at least like one video a week, and it's been infuriating because it all looks so cool. But
so break this down for me. What's the premise of this one, and is it connected with the other ones, or
you need to stop playing the pronoun game with the listeners? They're very confused now. Probably more so than the pencil conversation. So you need to...
probably more so. So sorry, Aaron sent us in our secret text channel the trailer for Trial by Fire Total War Warhammer 3. Did I get all of the titles in that one correct?
Yeah, so it's just yes. Warhammer Total War 3.
Okay.
So in the first, I don't even know where to start. It's like trying to explain 40K to somebody. All right, so
yeah, it's
there's two. So Game Workshop is like the whole thing. They used to come with miniatures. They created one style of miniatures where like the tabletop miniatures where you can like roll dice and like battle like little figures and like you paint them. So they came out with like sci-fi, which is called Warhammer 40,000, either 40K or 30K or whatever in space.
Oh wait, sorry.
The other
in space.
The other one is Warhammer Fantasy, which is what I am currently playing, which is what my usual go-to whenever we're sitting here for long periods of time. If I'm not working, I usually have this thing pulled up, in which it's kind of got a lot of different like historical stuff put into it, but like it's there's something kind of like the Holy Roman Empire, but with like gunpowder and magic, and then there's like a race of vampire counts and dwarves over here, and there's orcs and goblins, and there's elves, and there's lizard people and giant rat things, and then all the other manners of different creatures. So there's not like really like there's little like stories and books that you read of like different people in this universe. The first two games, the first game pretty much takes place in what's called the old world, which is if you're looking at like a map of Europe, take like the middle part of like the Holy Roman Empire and then slap like France hybrid with Britain, and then like kind of that Renaissance-y feel, and then surround it with like Viking warriors over here, and then like dwarves and goblins and vampire stuff over here. So that's the first game. The second game, we come all the way over to like the middle of the map, and this is like the largest map in like gaming history. It's massive. The next game 2 is involving around like there's like a vortex that's preventing all these dark evil things from coming into this world, known as chaos. Chaos is in a different realm, and they pour into our world, and they death, destruction, blah. So there's a vortex, and you're trying to keep the vortex stable so chaos doesn't come in. Basically, in this game, it's pretty much just total war, just conquer everything, or follow some sort of story, depending on what race you are. In the third game, since there's little kind of known about it at this point, all the way up here, if you want to Google Warhammer Fantasy map, be my guest, it is massive. There's like a bunch of different races that I'm missing that they don't have in this game. Up here in the corner, and this is kind of where like my deep part of history that I love mixed in with fantasy kicks in, because I love Russian history. I love Russian culture. There's a faction that that's based off of Russian.
Aaron, you muted yourself.
Okay, I'm not going crazy.
Nope, Aaron, you're still muted. Russian factions. Aaron. Oh no.
Hello. Okay. Someone tried to call me. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So, where was I?
Russian faction.
Yes.
Russian faction.
Yeah.
Russian
there's a Russian, and there's bear cavalry, and there's an ice queen, and all this magic and all this lore.
Bear cavalry
and
is all
it's like, So there's all this cool stuff.
Wait.
Not Rasputin whatsoever.
No.
They're like the bastion that's holding like all this chaos from this other world coming into this world. And so the third game is supposed to be based around that. And there's like different chaos gods and their factions that you can play as, and you get to play as Kislev against all these things. Or there's other factions. There's something supposed to be called like Grand Cathay, which is like ancient, like imagine like China, but like fantasy China, like dragons and all that kind of stuff. That's supposed to be like later into game, but it's building on this from what this kind of medium-sized map into this giant map to this gigantic map with all these different settlements and factions and things that you have to do and kill and all that fun stuff. So there's no real story with this one that I'm playing. It's pretty much just here's a map, conquer it. But there's a way that you can play the story.
Cool. Okay. I wasn't sure. I was confused about its connection to the other stuff, but it sounds like it's just an expansion, kind of moving up to the north to do more battle with deep.
Watch the videos, all of them.
That's a lot of videos.
Yes, watch the videos.
Okay,
you will thank me later.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, people think Marvel has an expanded universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Hold on. Hold my hammer here.
Yes. So it is. I mean, if you want to go, there's a lot, and I can't. I could spend like a whole podcast just talking about it because there's like, there's faction that's based on a guy who united the human races, and he was gifted a hammer, which is called that's Sigmar. He's now a god, and there's this person. And then he did this, and now he is a god. So there's just a lot that I don't even know where to begin or start.
Okay,
it's a good show.
Okay, I was just curious because it came out, and I didn't know if you had any more things. So good, dude.
Not yet. Not that I'm aware of. So.
Brandon, you had a tangent.
Still on the horizon. Still looking forward. Oh yeah. We saw a movie in the actual movie theater.
Boo.
Okay. I have many questions.
It's exciting. Yeah. Like,
what movie was it?
I was gonna tell you that. I don't know if you had like side questions. Like,
no. I mean, about like, I'm sure you're going to tell you about like how like what the theater was like. Was there a different process, or all those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, not on this day because we went on Sunday. We went Sunday at like 1:00. So it was like right after they opened on Sunday, pretty much. And so that's generally a time when there's nobody in the movie theater here anyway. So like it was pretty low key. There's like nobody there. This day we had that magical, all too rare experience of we were actually the only people in the theater. In the theater that we were seeing the movie that we were seeing. There was only a few cars out front anyway. And I guess they were seeing something else. I don't know. But they, I actually don't know what else was playing that day. But they were seeing that. So if you live in a very large city and this has never happened to you, it's pretty much the greatest thing of all time. If you are the only person in a movie theater when it's showing. It's fantastic. It's just so cool. Like, I just really like it. Even though you still sort of like are following the movie decorum, you like try not to talk too much just because it's like how your brain is wired. At least mine is. And a lot of times you have to talk like real loud to be heard in the movie anyway, because there's like loud noises happening. It's very loud in there. But like, you know, so we had that glorious thing and we just sat like exactly in the middle. It was wonderful. So, you know, it was pretty great. That's why we picked that time, because there wasn't like tons of people there and we didn't want to like go and be like, we didn't really want to go to a full house movie screening. That would have been probably not the best. But yeah, we went in on Sunday and it was cool. Susan was very excited because also, as we've talked about before, movie theater popcorn does have magic sprinkled in it. And she was very excited. That is one of her favorite parts, is the movie theater popcorn time. So had some popcorn and stuff. So the event was good. It was fun to get out and go do that. And then we watched, hold on.
Holding.
It's called, I forgot.
Holding.
Oh yes. Huh?
I said I'm holding.
Oh, it's a sentence. They titled the movie as a sentence, apparently. It's that Those Who Wish Me Dead. Have you seen this? Have you seen the trailer for that?
No.
It's like, so it's Angelina Jolie and other people, I guess. She's like so it's kind of weird. She's like a firefighter in Montana. She's like a smoke jumper.
Very plausible for Angelina Jolie. Okay.
Yeah, totally, right. And she's out there in the, you know, apparent like something happened, right? There's like a tragic event. Like there was an accident in a fire, and she's like mentally traumatized. And so she's not like cleared for work detail. So they put her on fire tower duty. So she's just out in this fire tower in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
Right. And okay, so that's part one.
Yeah.
That's the plausible bit. Okay. Before we go any further, here's the overall review of this movie. This movie is fine, but it's very confused about what it is, and it doesn't end. It just stops. It's super annoying. And the person that directed this, I think they're really good at directing. I don't remember who even directs this. Taylor Sheridan is the director. Yeah. He made some choices.
Choices were made.
And here's how I knew this movie was not going to end.
How?
The beginning of the movie, they set it up as like there's a guy and his kid, and like the guy is he just says basically there's a whole sequence of events. There's these two guys and they like murder a district attorney, right? This other guy sees it on the news, and all he says is, do you know what I do, son? Blah, blah. I'm a forensic accountant, and I found something that people don't want found.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh, jeez.
And now he like running away.
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's all the motivation that movie has.
What?
Yes, it's so terrible. So he like flees to Montana because his like brother-in-law lives there and is like a sheriff, right?
Yeah.
And so he thinks, I shall flee to the wilderness. But there's these two guys that are like they're like assassin dudes that are like hunting him down.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And like they just only say really vague statements. And they meet with a guy who's definitely Tyler Perry, but in the movie he doesn't get a name. It's just like him.
No.
They're just like, why is he here? I don't know. We weren't supposed to meet him till later.
Yeah.
And then after the meeting, he gets in a truck with like U.S. government license plates. So you're supposed to assume that this is like a big thing, but they never tell you anything.
Yeah.
About for me personally watching this, there's like no stakes because I don't even know what they're mad about. And for some reason, the director chooses to spend a lot of time focused on these two assassins and their travels and their dynamic, almost like they're the other main character. And so like instead of being like really foreboding and scary, they're just like two dudes. Oh. Which I feel like a better choice would be like to show them extremely rarely.
Yeah.
Like get good establishing shots of their faces so that when you see them again, you're like, oh no, right? But instead be like, are riding with him in the car. They're talking. One's mad because their bosses didn't give them enough supplies. You're like, what?
Oh,
do you want me to sympathize with
assassins?
You want me to sympathize with the bad guys? Is that what you're doing right now, guy? What the heck? Anyway, events transpire. Boy is like fleeing through the woods, and he runs into Angelina Jolie out there doing Firewatch duty.
I see.
And then she's all like, I can save you, because it's like her redemption arc is like saving this kid because other people died in this fire, right? And all this stuff. And they're like tied together because they have like this shared trauma, like past experiences. It's very heavy handed. It's like beating you over the head with this like, hey, look, guys, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they try to do all that. And then like at the end of the movie, it's just like, it just is over. They're like, yeah, you should go do that press conference so you can tell the world. Credits. Like, what? We don't even know. We don't know what happens to the kid after the movie's over. We don't know what happens. We don't even know what his dad found, who is supposed to be in trouble. Like, in some movies, like, I guess, you know, you leave it vague because it doesn't matter, because the rest of the movie was like so good and inspiring that you like, but this one was not that. And it was like, fine, I guess. But because the movie was trying to be like, okay, oh, by the way, because she's a fire person, in order to hunt down these people and distract the town from the fact that there's two assassins, they start a big raging forest fire. I skipped that part. So like everybody's distracted with the fire and they're like traipsing through the wilderness and just shooting random people in the face because all the police and firemen are over there. And so they go over here and look.
And she's
that's
traumatized
the important part.
by fire, right? Probably.
Yeah, and she's like yeah.
Recovering.
And so like there's this whole thing, but so this and there's all this other stuff, like the fire tower gets struck by lightning. Which, first of all, this fire tower in the middle of the Montana wilderness apparently does not have a lightning rod on it.
This is a bit of
that doesn't seem up to code, right? Because they're like, oh, we can't call anyone on the radio because it got struck by lightning, and I'm like, where is your lightning rod? Right. What's the matter with you? Anyway, you know, this movie tries to be like, it's trying really hard to be like a man versus man and a man versus nature movie at the same time. Right? And so they sort of have these conflicting interests where the whole the nature stuff's cool when they're like running from the lightning storm. That's cool. The fire sequences are cool. Like the tech that they got to do the fire dodge, they're really excellent. But they really, really liked it because they did a lot of them. So like, it was fine. And if it was just like a dumb action movie, like I could forgive a lot of it. But there's like no resolution. And even dumb action movies have a resolution of some kind. Like San Andreas, that is a 100% stupid disaster action movie. And it ties everything up in a nice little bow at the end. So you're satisfied at the end that everything is over and everything is accomplished. And there's at least a happy ending to all the tragedy. This one, it just like stops. And you're like, what are you doing? Stop it. If Cliffhanger can get this right, why can't you guys? Come on. What are you doing? So it annoyed me greatly that they were trying to make like a disaster movie / action movie / like Artur piece, where and they did not blend these together well at all. Right? It's not like a movie that just sort of stops and I accept it is like Memento, right? Or like that movie is just sort of over and you're like, dang, that's crazy, right? Or like something like that. But a movie about assassins chasing Angelina Jolie and a child through a forest fire is not on the same level as a Christopher Nolan film, in my opinion. Right? It's just not. So it's fine, I guess. The ending will let you down, I think, in my opinion. I was just like, just the vagueness of everything. Like, oh, I found something. Oh, what's he doing here? Like, the pronoun game of this movie is strong, and they don't give you enough answers for anything. And in my opinion, there's not enough cool stuff to, like, override that. And then there's, like, minor details that are just, like, annoying. Like, why would you do that? Why did you even have that scene? Why is that character? This movie has, like, 5 characters. Why did you spend time talking to that one person? That didn't need to happen. You could have saved that money to shoot an ending. I would have accepted, because the end was like the kid talking to the news reporter, like he was going on the way to talk to the news guy. I would have accepted the cheesy ending where they like, it's somebody watching the TV news, right? If it was like Angelina Jolie in her house after everything was over watching the news and you just get like a quick recap of everything, like a little wrap up, I would have accepted that. That would make sense. Just give that movie 5 more minutes to do that. And it's a infinitely better movie, in my opinion. So, there's my review of the movie that we saw. Those who wish me dead. Dun, dun, dun. But it was fun to go back to the movie theater and just kind of, because I like we said before, I like being in the movie theater. I like going. I like watching movies on an enormous screen that's like mega loud in there, because it's all designed to be shot there and we're seen in that thing and heard in that way. And we've talked about that before, so I won't rehash that too much. But it was nice. It was fun. So
Yeah.
Pick a better movie next time, maybe. But it was all right. It was a good first foray out into the world to see how everything was going out there. So yeah, it's good times.
What other what other selections of movies were out there for you to pick?
Let me look here. I'll look at our movie theater real quick.
That was like one of the funnest things of getting to choose, like, oh, which movie's out there and which one would be a good thing. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, like, what other options there were.
Well, yeah, one of them was like, I don't actually know. The Mortal Kombat movie came out, but I heard that one wasn't good. And Susan is definitely not into Mortal Kombat, right? And I think the other big movie that is still out is Godzilla vs. Kong was out, and then that what's that one that the Spiral, that Saw movie, which I could care less about. Saw horror movies, and these other ones I haven't heard of ever. Wrath of Man, don't know. And then the Raya and the Last Dragon, the animated one.
Oh, okay. That one's Disney, right?
I think so. I'm not sure.
No.
Oh, there's this one called Profile, but she was going to go see that with one of her friends. So,
okay.
Yeah. That's what's out currently in my neck of the woods. Things you could see. So, I think overall, out of all the movies that are available here, I think it's probably I think some of these movies are probably worse than what I watched. So there's that at least. I don't know what some of these are, but some of them I probably don't care about at all. So I definitely don't want to watch, just personally. I don't like, we've talked before also. So horror movies are out. So anything related to the Saw franchise, I'm just bored with.
Was there any kind of different speculations? Anything that you had to do different due to the restrictions or COVID or anything like that?
Now the movie theater still had all their masking stuff going on. So even though the city has kind of like relaxed some of that, the movie theater still had it up. So we just wore our masks inside, and it was all good. And I don't know if they still have seating restrictions, but because we were the only people in the movie theater, it didn't matter. So I'm not sure if they do or not. I still probably would have. I mean, I don't like to sit next to other people in the movie theater anyway. So if there would have been other people there, I still would have wanted to sit away from them because I don't want to hear them eating their popcorn and whispering to each other. So I don't. But I don't know. I hadn't seen any signs up, so I'm not sure. I wasn't also looking for them. So I just saw the mask one, and they had the line. They still had their line separated a little bit. But so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that when Shelby and myself went to that one independent theater, it was it was very small and like, okay, well, you gotta make sure you gotta do this, and like, oh yeah, there's gonna be all these people, and they're like, oh, you're the only two people here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, but even then, they still had it to where, make sure that you have all this and this, and wear a mask. If you're sitting next to somebody, make sure you wear a mask. If you're not, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think that's what theirs generally is. Like, you have to eat it. You have to have it on unless you're sitting real far away or you're eating your snacks, right? You don't have to have it on.
Yeah.
I think I saw that sign. So, it wasn't bad. We wanted to go to the drive-through movie this weekend. Yeah. The drive-in in Aurora, because they still have one. They were showing the Fellowship of the Ring, but we couldn't go because it was graduation and she had to be at graduation. I know. Maybe another time.
Yeah, gosh, I have not been to that theater in forever. The little theater down there. Because there's one in Tulsa, but even that one's, everything's relatively closed due to COVID or. Yeah.
Ours opened up. It was closed for a long time, and it was opened. I don't remember exactly when they opened, but it was. Yeah. It wasn't super long ago. I don't think. I can't remember now. It's been a bit of a blur, but they can't. They were closed for a real long time, and they were doing when they opened to you could do they had deals for you could rent out a theater for your family, so you could go in there. So they were doing business that way. Right when they closed down, they were just selling snacks and popcorn just at the door. You could just come by and just buy snacks. Was, right when everything started, they did that. And then they opened to limit. I know that they did open to limited capacity, but then you had to have reservations, and you actually had to buy tickets beforehand and stuff.
Oh,
but that I don't know how long that lasted.
Yeah,
because we were just we're not going. And they did a lot of they were showing a lot of older movies. They did the whole thing where our theater, they used to. I haven't heard about it in a while, but they do retro movie night. So they just show older stuff randomly, and they were doing a lot of that. I know for a while because of the shutdown and because there was no new releases at all for months. They were periodically doing oh hey, this weekend they would open for the weekend or a day here or these specific times, and they would play those on. I think our movie theater has 8 screens, so they would show some of those. They would spread them out and put them in some of the theaters so you could come in and and I think they would show the same movie in multiple, just like the same retro movie in multiple theaters, just so that people could spread out and they wouldn't have to sit close together and stuff like that. So they did that. But so yeah, they're doing all right. I think I'm glad that they are kind of getting back to normal, and I like our movie theater. It is small and it's kind of little, and I like going in there. And all the guy that manager people are like super great, so I really like them. And it's usually not super full anyway. Really, if you avoid if you don't go like Friday, Saturday night, it's never like really full, except for like retro movie nights. Those are like the most. They used to do it on like Tuesday or something, and it was just like the most packed thing ever. Because I went to some that were like just completely full. Like what? Like we went to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, jam packed in there.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Do you think that movies will kind of return to kind of how they once were, or is this kind of, I don't feel like the new norm with movie theaters?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I know a lot of people don't share my opinion on like going to the physical movie theater. Like they don't really care. Like they rather just like watch it at their house.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But I think, I don't know. I think there still is a place for movie theaters, because I think that there are enough people still that want to see it on like a 60-foot screen. They want to see that big presentation, and they like to go with their friends. There is also a social aspect to it. Where you go with somebody, or you go here and you do all that stuff. It's still kind of a thing, and people still like to go. Like kids still want to go to the movie to like just get out of the house and like go socialize somewhere or stuff like that. So I think there's still a place. I think this, for some things, I think the simultaneous release is okay. Like you can put it on your streaming service and release it in the theater, because people will see it both, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's all right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because you serve more people. Some people don't want to go. And some movies you're like, oh, well, I kind of wanted to look at it, but I didn't want to go all the way to the movie theater to see it. So maybe you have more people see it that way than would normally do it, because they can watch it at home. And then the people that still want to go to see it in the movie theater, because I still want to go see the movie theater. I just like movies.
Sure, yeah.
I think for now, there's still a place for that.
Yeah. Because that's what, a lot of people saying, like, oh, the theater is dead from after this, which, conceptually, I was like, I understand, but there is still that need, or that, thing that people want to go to the movie theater. But also a lot of people are wanting that, well, this is going to be a new way to get, cinema, new way to get films involved, having, maybe like a smaller or a minor release compared to a bigger one, like streaming services wise. So I don't know how you felt. I always liked going to the theater. That was always something that I thoroughly enjoyed, and thought it was something fun, something cool.
Yeah. And I think mine's definitely tainted with nostalgia, like hardcore, because like I haven't actually ever been to one, so I don't have this opinion is just that, an opinion. I have no facts to back it up. But like those like the like the draft housey ones where you go and there's like a couch and they bring you dinner and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's kind of like not appealing.
Yeah.
In my mind, my experience with a movie theater, that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And maybe that's just me being my old man hat on here, but like, I don't want that. I don't want like baked potato and chicken when I watch a movie.
Yeah.
I want popcorn and bad candy. Like that's what I want. Like that's a very specific thing that I would like to have. And so that's not the place for me, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds fine. I know a lot of people do like that, and but I don't know. That's not what I want in a movie experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of the movie experience to me is the other people there. It is the popcorn. People are, like, oh, well, they're talking the movie. Like, well, yeah, they do, but like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I rag on it,
Yeah.
like when we went and saw The Revenant,
Mm-hmm.
there was this old lady behind us, and her and her husband were just talking shit the whole time. She'd just be like, "Oh my gosh, did you see that? Can you believe that bear? Look at that!" Like, the whole time she was talking like that, and like, at the time, did it annoy the bejesus out of me? Yes, but now do I find it hilarious? And like, the only thing I remember about that is one of that movie that memory is directly tied to that movie, right? And
Yeah.
so, like, it's part of the experience in my mind now. It's like solidified itself as one, and they're inseparable. So like, that's good. That's fun. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. For me, again, that's just what I like and what I like to do, and I hope that there is a place for longer, because it's just a good, it's a fun thing to go do. It's a good, avenue. And again, like I've said before on the show as well, a lot of directors, like, they direct their movie to be seen in that format. And like, I noticed that this time, because it's been so long since I saw a movie in the movie theater, and I've been looking at my TV and my laptop screen so much to watch movies. When I saw the picture on that screen on the wall in the movie theater, I was like, oh yeah, there we go. That's it. Because like, for all the faults that this movie that I watched had, like all the directing faults, it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. So, you could just, I like made a thought about like the noticeable difference from looking at my TV for so long, or watching stuff on my phone or my laptop. When I saw this thing on the wall, I was like, oh yeah. I could tell the difference in the quality in the picture, just like immediately. Mm-hmm. So there's also that part of it too. I think, you can be like, oh, my TV's fine. I have a nice TV. It's not that nice, right? It's not as nice as the projector on the thing. So, I mean, maybe maybe you have more money than me. Mine's not that nice. So, and my laptop screen is definitely not that nice, because it's like 1,000,000 years old, and like the resolution isn't fantastic. But so that's another thing, right? That just the experience of the visual experience is different, right? When it's that big.
Yeah. So that brings part of the next question. IMAX or just like regular theater?
I mean, I do like an IMAX movie, but I will only see movies. I will, because there's no IMAX close to me. Like, this movie theater is 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It has to be like a very extra movie that I'm really hyped about for me to track it down in IMAX.
Yeah.
So I like the IMAX movies. They're fun, but they're like just a thing. Like, I don't seek them out generally.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a like I did when I went to whenever the Hobbit movies came out.
Oh,
because Peter Jackson was like, I shot these movies to be viewed in IMAX. I was like, well, okay, I'm going to watch them in IMAX.
Well, I think it's a key distinction of whether the movie was shot specifically to take advantage of the larger screen, or if it was just blown up to fit it. Because that does change. I think just from an artistic perspective of how it was intended to be viewed.
It does. Well, it changed how it looks too, because you can kind of see that aspect squishing a little bit when they just like blow it up. But when he said, I shot these movies to be viewed in IMAX, I was like, well, okay, then I'm going to see it in IMAX. And I think that's also why some people don't like them, right, visually, is because they're not watching them on IMAX, or they didn't, and they're just watching them on like their TV. And, you know, yes, are they visually different from the other works? Yes. But I think part of the reason for that is because they were designed to be shot and seen on an IMAX screen.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think that does play a part in it as well. So I think that's where some of the hate comes from. Like, well, I don't like how it looks. Like, well, did you see it in like 200 feet tall though? No.
Yeah.
Well, you missed out a little bit.
Yeah.
And that makes it special because you can only really see it that way once or twice, right? Like when it's gone, it's done. And then it is relegated to my DVD collection where I just watch it on my normal TV, right? And it's just not as visually imposing and like grandiose as it was on that huge IMAX screen.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. It was fun to go do that. And even though I didn't love the movie, it was fun to go do it. And that's all right, too. Part of the movie experience for me is just like going and doing it. Like, I don't always like the movies I end up watching. But, you know, how do you know until, you know, you can only read so many reviews and do stuff. You just go watch it, you know. But, and if you go on like Sunday afternoon, the tickets are like cheaper anyway. So, boom.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to when we can go and find one to go watch here. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but we'll see.
Indeed.
Well, we've covered pencil corner, we've covered haircut corner and movie corner, lots of corners. We need one
Warhammer.
And Warhammer
Universe.
corner. So we've got our 4 corners for the episodes. I think that's a ring.
All right.
I'd say it's well rounded, but I just mentioned corner.
No, it's got only 4 corners. Not well rounded enough.
Anyway,
we had office corner. Don't forget office corner. So there you go.
Office corner.
Antagonal.
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay. Make all geometry teachers' brains explode right now. Sounds good, guys. Love you.
No, love you too.
Love you too.
Bye.